Hey everybody, it's Beth from Bliss. Thanks so much for joining me again. We are moving on to week 2, our second chakra. So we're traveling up the energy centers into the second chakra. The second chakra is our pelvic region. It's also known as the sacral chakra. And it governs the pelvis, it governs the hips, it governs the lower back, the kidneys, even our reproductive organs. So this is a very creative, juicy kind of chakra. And when we're working with this chakra, when we're trying to get it into balance, it's so that we can experience and allow ourselves the freedom to experience joy and pleasure. This is a water chakra, right? That's the element water. And so it's a very flowing kind of feel that we're going to have to our practice today, because water flows, and water changes, and water moves. And when this chakra is in balance, then it allows us to be more in the flow. It allows us to move. It allows us to change. So let's find a comfortable seat. If you were with us last week for chakra 1, you're going to think about those 2 sitting bones, those knobby bones on either side of your bum, grounding those guys down. But then in the front of the pelvis, we have the pubic bone. And in the back of the pelvis, we have the tailbone. So we also want to balance the weight forward and back, making sure we're not too tipped forward into an anterior tilt of the pelvis, creating too much of a lower back bend. And then that we're also not too rounded back on the tail, erasing that back bend, right? Because our lower back gently moves in. So we're going to make sure we're not posteriorly tilting the pelvis and tucking the tail. If that's the case, sit up on a blanket or 2 to elevate your pelvis and get your pelvis up on your thighs. Otherwise, from here, take a moment, see if you can center the weight between those 4 corners, the diamond of your pelvis. Grow the spine up tall right through the top of your head and close your eyes. And just take a few moments to settle into the rhythm of your breath, so that when we start to move, you're moving with the flow, the rise and fall of your breath. And when you feel ready, with an inhale, you'll join your hands to prayer right in front of your heart and take a moment to set an intention for your practice today. If we think about this second chakra, some intentions might be to allow ourselves to open up, to feel joy and pleasure, to really allow ourselves to experience that. It's so easy to cut those things out of our lives, but then we're not living a really full life. Another thought for an intention would be to let go of any emotional baggage that we're carrying around with us, the stuff that just isn't serving us, that isn't allowing us to move forward. Another thought might be to allow yourself to experience going with the flow, that thought of where can you bend rather than stay rigid. Right? So you allow yourself to move into the flow of life, to be a little more flexible. And then we'll start by chanting the sound of the second chakra, the sound Vam, V-A-M. Vam, 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 Vam. Vam, 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 Vam. Vam, 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 Vam. When you're ready to breathe in, go ahead and float your eyes open. Release your hands, and we're going to come to sit on your right sitting bone. You'll rest your left shin in the arch of your right foot. It could be ankle, could be mid-shin, somewhere like that. If you feel wildly uneven, your hips are really tilting onto the right side, prop a blanket underneath your right sitting bone. From here, with an inhale, we'll float the arms up. As you exhale, drop your left hand down. Take a nice easy side bend. Stay for a couple of breaths. So you can feel the weight of your hips grounding down, especially on this right side, so that you can breathe a little more space through the right waist. Then with an inhale, come on. As you exhale, take a little twist around to the right. As you inhale, grow the spine long. Ground this left thigh bone and allow yourself to twist. And let the pelvis come with you. So you don't have to keep the left sitting bone heavy. Right? You can let the pelvis lift up a little bit, left sitting bone lift up and twist. So you really wrap the pelvis into the twist because the spine rests in the pelvis. So we don't want to isolate the middle of the spine and the upper spine away from the lower spine. With a breath in, come on up. Slide your left knee behind your right foot and walk your right shin a little more parallel to the front of your mat and hinge over. So you can find the flow of your breath here, letting it unfurl your spine. And when you're ready to inhale, walk yourself back up. Swing that left leg around, soles of the feet together. If you have a blanket, you may have to position it a little more center underneath you. Breathe in, sit up nice and tall. And allow your hips to fold forward as much as they comfortably can, keeping the spine as long as you can. And then from here, when you can't tip forward anymore, just allow the head to bow in, turning your attention inward to your breath, to the sensation of your inner thighs widening, your outer hip creases dropping down behind you. As you inhale, come on up. As you exhale, gather the legs together, swing it over onto the left side. Breathing in, arms rising up. Drop the right hand down, take a side bend. Stay a couple of breaths just to establish the shape, to connect with the rhythm of your breath. Then as you inhale, scoop that arm up. And you're taking a twist to the left, grounding your right thigh, but letting the right sitting bone lift up so you can turn the pelvis, turn the base of the spine, and let that twist revolve all the way up through your neck. With an inhale, float the arms on up, slide the right knee back, the left shin forward. Exhale and hinge. So again, you're tipping your pelvis forward. Feel the wave of your breath. As you inhale, let it sweep the spine and the chest forward. As you exhale, let it soften you. Inhale, walk yourself back up. Exhale, swing that leg around, soles of the feet together, breathing in and breathing out. Don't worry about having to draw the heels close in. Give yourself some space if you need to, so that there's no pain in the knees, and you really think about rotating the thigh bones open in the hip sockets. Inhale, rise on up. Let's come back to the right side again. And let's see if we can make it a little more fluid this time. Breathing in. Breathing out. So one breath per movement. Breathing in. And twisting right. Inhaling, rising up, shifting the legs, hinging forward. Inhaling, floating up. Exhaling, swinging it around. Breathing in, sitting up tall. Tilt the pelvis so it feels like the pubic bone slides back behind you. Inhale, rising up. Exhaling, gathering the legs, swinging it onto the left side. Breathing in. Right hand dips down. Taking your twist on your next exhale. Breathing in. Shifting the feet and the legs. Breathing in, coming up. Exhaling, swinging it around. Breathing in, sitting up tall. Exhaling, hinging over. Breathing in, coming up. Exhale, gather the legs together. And from here, swing right up onto your hands and knees. Hands just a little bit in front of the shoulders. Tuck the toes. Lift yourself up to downward dog. Put a little bend in your knees and go ahead and let your hips sway side to side. See if you can connect it with your breath. Just finding a little freedom through those hips. A little bit of softness, a little movement. And when you're ready, breathe it back to center. Ground the hands. See if you can draw the hip creases up away from your armpits and your wrists. Feel the pelvis tip forward, sitting bones gently spiraling skyward. With the breath in, let's rise the right leg up. Exhale, stepping in between your hands for a lunge. Yeah, knee right above ankle. Take a breath in, lengthen. Back through your back heel, forward through the top of your head. Soften your knee down. As you breathe in, hug the inner thighs together. So you draw the energy up through the legs, up through the spine. As you exhale, just heavy the hips. Imagine your right sitting bone trying to inch a little closer to your right heel. Stay for one more breath in and out. Take a breath in. Now as you exhale, hinge back, lengthening this right leg. Just starting to awaken now the back of your right leg, even the back of your right hip where your glute muscles are, right under tush. As you inhale, come back into a lunge, lift the back knee. Now tuck that left knee behind your right. And you can either sit cross-legged in Sukhasana or knee to knee in Gomukhasana, cow pose. Flex the feet. Breathing in, sit up nice and tall. Take a second to feel what's happening through the back of your waist, the back of your hips. If there's room, hinge that pelvis forward. Long spine, and at the last moment, soften the head in. This is a feminine chakra, the even-numbered chakras. So the feminine energy is not about force or pushing, it's about becoming receptive. So make sure you're not forcing this in any way. Next breath in, come on up. Step that top right foot onto the ground, take a little spin, up into down dog, you go. Inhale the left leg high. Exhale, stepping in between your hands for a lunge. Take a breath in, soften the right knee down. Again, breathe in, hug the inner thighs together. Long spine. Exhale, melt the hips. So opening up through the front of your right hip. And one more breath. Then when you're ready to exhale next, hinge back. So you can still fold as much as possible the back, or your pelvis over your thigh. So you're not rounding your lower back. Next breath in, fly it back up into a lunge. Slide the right knee behind the left. Sitting crisscrossed at the ankles or shins or knees. Again, breathing in, sitting up tall from wherever you are and hinging forward. Next breath in, come on up, step the top foot down, take a little pivotly spin around into down dog you go. Nice long deep breath in. Nice long deep breath out. As you inhale, place both knees onto the ground. And let's swing it right onto your back from here. So engaging your belly to support you as you lower down. Forearms can always come down as well. From here, we're going to draw the knees into your chest and then let the thighs open wide. So creating just a little hint of that outer rotation through the thighs. You're going to take a breath in. As you exhale, we're going to roll to the right side, trying to keep your knees as far apart for as long as possible. And eventually, the top one comes onto the bottom. Inhale, let the left leg lead the movement. Right is heavy for as long as possible. Exhale over to the left side. So rolling a few times, breathing into your back, breathing out to roll to the side. Inhaling again, breathing onto your back. Exhaling and rolling. Breathing in. And breathing out. We'll do this one more time to the left. Breathing in. And breathing out. Inhale, let the right leg come up, followed by the left leg. Join the soles of the feet together. Lay the pinky sides of the feet on down. And go ahead and place your hands around your hip points. And let the weight of your hands deepen your awareness of your pelvis. Feeling the opening you're creating here so that fresh energy, fresh blood, fresh oxygen can move through this chakra region. And as you're here and you're breathing, allow yourself to awaken to your creativity. Right? And it could be creativity through arts. It could be very simply, when you look at your life, how do you want to shape it? How do you want to create it? Right? We all have that potential. When the chakra gets blocked, we feel like we're cut off from that creativity. It's like you're birthing a new vision for yourself in your life. Then when you're ready, breathe in, gather the legs together. Roll yourself onto your right side. And come on up. Going to find your seat again. Drawing your hands to prayer at your heart. Take a moment to drop your attention down into your pelvis and just notice any shifts, any awareness that feels somehow different in that region. And then remind yourself of your intention. So that can carry through your time off the mat. And then we'll end today by chanting again the sound of the second chakra, Bam. Bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam. Allow your inhale to float your heart right up to meet the prayer of your hands, and let your exhale bow you on over, honoring the vibrancy and the creativity that lives deep inside you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me here. I look forward to seeing you next time when we travel up into the belly chakra, the third chakra. Namaste.